What if I told you that more than a century ago, a man handed us a map to the female mind, and we burned it? We mocked him, feared him, called him mad. But deep inside, we knew he was onto something far too dangerous to accept. His name was Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, a man who dared to ask a question no man had ever dared to ask so boldly. What does a woman truly want? They say he never found the answer, but the truth is, he left us the answer. We just refused to listen. Because the real answer isn't one you can read in a book. It's one you have to feel, one you must suffer for, one that will rip apart your illusions and force you to confront the darkest truths about yourself. Freud didn't give us conclusions. He gave us a compass. He didn't give us facts. He gave us mirrors. And every time you look into the eyes of a woman and feel confusion, desire, fear, or obsession, you are staring into that mirror, not at her, but at yourself. You think you want her, but Freud whispered what most men are too afraid to admit. You want the feeling she gives you, the return to something lost, something primal, something buried so deep in your soul that you've forgotten its name. You want to be held, not just physically, but emotionally. You want to be seen without having to perform. You want to feel worthy without needing to win or conquer. But here's the tragedy. Most men chase that feeling through women, and in doing so, lose themselves. You start thinking if you can just get her, that one woman, to love you, to need you, to choose you, then maybe you'll finally feel whole. But Freud knew better. He knew that most men don't love women. They love symbols. They fall in love with their own projections. You meet her, and she becomes the screen. You project onto her your need for validation, your childhood wounds, your shame, your hunger to be seen. And for a moment, it feels like magic. But it's not magic. It's memory. It's trauma wearing perfume. And when she pulls away, rejects you, confuses you, you don't just feel heartbroken, you feel shattered. Because she wasn't just a woman, she was a mirror. And now the mirror is gone. And you're forced to face the one thing Freud said every man avoids, his own reflection. This is the part of Freud no one talks about. Not the sex, not the Oedipus complex, not the dreams about your mother, but the radical idea that everything you fear, everything you crave, and everything you deny is living inside of you. And the feminine, the woman, is the key that unlocks it. She awakens what you've repressed. She stirs what you've silenced. She reminds you of your fragility, your longing, your shame, your hunger to be seen without needing to perform. And because of that, she terrifies you. Freud said most people do not really want freedom because freedom involves responsibility, and most people are frightened of responsibility. But replace the word freedom with intimacy. Most men do not really want intimacy because intimacy involves vulnerability, and vulnerability feels like death. So we play games. We chase, we seduce, we ghost, we build muscles, we make money, we become high-value men. But inside, we're still the same scared little boy, waiting for mommy to tell us we're good enough. Freud didn't pathologize this, he revealed it. He made the unconscious conscious. He forced us to see that no matter how strong, smart, or successful we are, we're still haunted by the past. by our first love, our mother, by our first rejection, her absence, by our first shame, the moment we realized we could be left behind. Every woman you desire today is filtered through that early blueprint, and unless you update the map, you'll keep walking in circles. You'll keep mistaking chemistry for love, validation for connection, and control for safety. You'll keep trying to understand women without ever understanding the woman within you. Yes, the feminine inside you. Freud believed that we are not purely male or female. We are a blend of both, anima and animus, masculine and feminine energies swirling in one psyche. And to truly love a woman, not just want her, not just seduce her, you must first make peace with the feminine in you. Your softness, your intuition, your chaos, your longing to be seen, not fixed. Until you embrace those parts of yourself, you will fear them in others. You will fear her emotions, her mood swings, her silence, her tears. You will call her crazy, but really you're terrified of your own emotions reflected back at you. And so you run. From her, from love, from truth, because the map Freud gave you is not one of conquest, but of surrender. He wasn't telling you to dominate women. He was telling you to understand the terrain of your own soul. Because when you know your darkness, you won't project it onto her. You'll stop blaming her for the way she makes you feel. You'll stop punishing her for not filling the void you've never dared to face. You'll see her, really see her, not as an object of desire, but as a whole being. And more importantly, you'll start seeing yourself. That's the gift Freud tried to give us. Not techniques, not pickup lines, not red pill tactics or alpha games, but insight, depth, the brutal beauty of self-awareness. And that gift is still waiting for the man brave enough to open it. So, the next time you find yourself asking, "What does she want?" pause and ask instead, "What part of myself have I buried so deep that I only feel it when I'm with her?" That's not just attraction. That's a message, a reminder that you are not chasing a woman, you are chasing wholeness. And the map was there all along, in your wounds, in your longing, in your silence. Freud left it behind. Most just never learned to read it.
But maybe that's why we ignored him. Not because he was wrong, but because he was too right. Because it's easier to mock a map than to walk the path. Easier to label a woman complicated than to admit you've never listened. Easier to blame the feminine than to hold your own mirror. So we scroll, we chase, we swipe. We collect phone numbers like trophies while our souls starve for real connection. We look for answers in porn, in podcasts, in power, in pills. But we never pause long enough to feel the ache beneath it all. That ache is not weakness. It is a signal, the raw whisper of the unconscious mind saying, "Go deeper, go home." Home not to a woman, not to a body, not to an idea of what love should be, but to yourself. That's what Freud tried to say over and over in 100 different ways. You don't need to decode her, you need to decode you. You don't need to master women. You need to stop fearing the parts of yourself they awaken. Because until you stop fearing them, you'll never be able to love them, and you'll never let them love you. You'll keep pretending pretending to be strong, pretending to be independent, pretending to be the man who doesn't need anyone. But deep down, you'll know the truth. You'll feel it in the silence after the argument, in the hollowness after the sex, in the ache behind the laugh. And that ache is your soul knocking on the door. It's asking you to remember that before you were a man trying to win a woman, you were a boy trying to be seen. And that boy never went away. He still lives inside you, still hoping someone will finally sit with him, hold him, not fix him, just see him. That is the beginning of healing, not in domination, not in performance, but in surrender. And this is where most men break, because surrender sounds like weakness, but it is not. It is the strongest thing you will ever do. To surrender to your pain, to your history, to the parts of yourself you spent a lifetime burying. Only then can you meet a woman with presence, not neediness, not strategy, not fear, but presence. Not what do I get from her, but what can I hold with her? Her emotion, her mystery, her storm. Because now you've faced your own. You've walked through your shadow, and you didn't run. That's the man she's been waiting for. Not the perfect man, not the rich man, not the flawless man, but the man who knows himself, who isn't afraid to look inward because he's made peace with his own. That's the kind of man who doesn't just touch a woman's body, he touches her being. He doesn't try to fix her, he listens. He doesn't try to own her, he owners her. And he doesn't confuse her pain with drama. He recognizes it, because it looks a lot like his own. This man doesn't need Freud's map anymore, because he has become the map. A man who knows the terrain of his own psyche. A man who knows that the deepest part of understanding her is becoming whole within himself. That's what Freud was pointing to all along. Not control, not diagnosis, not intellectual superiority, but the terrifying and beautiful truth that woman is not a puzzle to solve. She is a portal, a living invitation to your own awakening. And every time you dismiss her, or blame her, or label her as too emotional, you close that portal. But every time you sit still, truly still in her presence, and let her mystery stir your own, you don't just understand her, you remember yourself. So maybe Freud wasn't confused after all. Maybe he asked the question, what does a woman want? Not because he didn't know the answer, but because he wanted you to find it in yourself. To realize that a woman doesn't want perfection. She wants presence. She wants to feel you fully, your depth, your wounds, your truth. Not the armor you wear, but the soul beneath it. And if you're brave enough to go there, to walk that inner path with honesty, to sit with the echoes of your past and breathe through them, then the map will appear, not outside you, but within you. It always was. Freud saw it. He tried to show us, but most were too afraid. Now the question is, are you?